I've got a question. What is the greatest rivalry in all of track and field right now? Is it Noah Lyles versus Kenny Bednarek, the two United States sprinters that have competed many times in the 100 and the 200, and on one occasion, that clash erupted in Kenny Bednarek shoving Noah across the finish line? Could it be Keely Hodgkinson versus Audrey Wero, two of the greatest 800 runners in history who battled all the way to the tape in this year's European Champs? Or could a rivalry exist between three athletes, such as Karsten Warholm, Rai Benjamin, and Alison dos Santos, three of the greatest 400 hurdlers in history who have traded wins in the World Champs and the Olympic Games over the past few years? There's no objective right or wrong answer to a rivalry that really sparks debate among all of track and field. But there is one rivalry that has recently re-emerged that is once again making headlines, and that rivalry is Josh Kerr versus Jakob Ingebrigtsen. If you're not familiar with the history of these two, then buckle your seatbelts, because this one is full of the drama. For Jakob, he emerged as one of the greatest teenage talents in history, and in 2021, he shocked the world with a huge Olympic gold medal in the 1500, and following that season, he became nearly untouchable in the 1500 and the 5000, winning the 5000 in various world champs, but he has since never won another 1500 gold medal. Now for Josh Kerr, he was one of the greatest NCAA athletes to ever hit the circuit, winning an NCAA championship and then becoming one of Great Britain's best middle distance talents. And I'm sure many of you already know this, but in 2026, this man broke a world record that had stood for 27 years, as he famously took down Hicham El Guerrouj's previous mile world record with an effort of 3 minutes, 42.66 seconds. This record was quite amazing, as Josh Kerr called his shot months before this performance took place. And then after this mile, he jumped into the Commonwealth Games, where he once again dominated the field, closing the final 200 in a time of 25.3, and he won this race easily over a very stacked field. Recently, Josh Kerr has been all of the talk in middle distance running. However, recently, Jakob has re-emerged on the racing circuit, and after almost an entire year of not running, Jakob won this year's European Champs in the 5000, clocking a time of 13 minutes and 15 seconds, and he did this with quite the strong kick of the final 100. For much of 2025, Jakob was battling with injury and battling with fitness and racing difficulties. And during this time, there was little talk between Jakob and Kerr. However, after winning this 5,000-meter championship, Ingebrigtsen went on record saying that Josh Kerr avoiding this year's European Championships was quote-unquote ruining the sport. I swear it seems like every time there is something that could happen between these two, it happens. And this is quite the interesting development because Josh Kerr did race in a championship, the Commonwealth Games, but Jakob made the point saying that Kerr could have run in this year's European Championships because he was clearly fit, and yet he decided not to run. Now, this is only a continuation of a back and forth that has gone on for years, with Jakob previously stating that Josh Kerr was just the next guy. He also at one point stated that he could beat Kerr blindfolded, and to this, Kerr stated that Jakob clearly has trouble minding his manners. It's honestly quite the interesting back and forth because these two have some of the greatest times in the history of middle distance running. Kerr has a world record for the indoor 2 mile, Jakob has the world record for the outdoor 2 mile, Kerr now has the outdoor record for the mile, and Ingebrigtsen has the indoor world records for the 1500 and the 1 mile run. Also, Ingebrigtsen has world records for the 2,000 and the 3,000 meters, which is honestly just remarkable. Collectively, these two have erased various world records from two legends, Hicham El Guerrouj and Daniel Komen, and the only one left, the only record from the 90s that still holds a place he gets back. And only adding drama to this proceeding is the fact that Josh Kerr has just made pretty much a confirmation that he will be going after the 1500 world record in 2027. The fact that these two might be tunnel visioning themselves towards this 1500 world record, which again is the only El Guerrouj record that still stands, means that their paths are very much colliding, and there's no confirmation yet as to where or how this will happen, and my guess would be that if they do go after this world record, it'll probably be when they both are not in the same race. But I would love, beyond any race in 2027, for Josh Kerr and Jakob Ingebrigtsen to clash in a 1500 world record where they genuinely get after a 3:25 attempt. Now right now, Josh Kerr is the overwhelming favorite for this kind of thing to happen. Ingebrigtsen is certainly getting back to fitness, but it would be a huge challenge to jump back into the 1500 and achieve this kind of time, given that he hasn't raced a 1 mile or a 1500 in almost a year now. But there are still various races set to come, because Ingebrigtsen has announced that he will be running various 1500s and multiple Diamond League events coming up in 2026, and I can only imagine he is also set to run in this year's World Ultimate Champs. Jakob's biggest gripe towards Kerr is not prioritizing championship running, which again, he did run Commonwealth, which is a championship event, but in Jakob's mind, Europeans was that event. It is obvious that these two athletes do not like each other. In fact, that has been documented for years now. But what is also quite obvious is that these two have clearly used each other as motivation. And I think that this rivalry has been so intense and so entertaining that it has brought both athletes to much higher levels. And this really does lead me to believe that 2027 could be a very exciting year in middle distance running. I think most people understand that Jakob has the 5,000 advantage. I mean, he has won 3 global titles from 2022 to 2024. But Josh Kerr has recently proven that his speed is dominant. He crushed this year's Commonwealth Games, he broke the world record at 3:42, and don't forget that time trial that he did at altitude in Albuquerque, where he ran a 1200 in 2 minutes and 42 seconds. This rivalry has since become one of the most interesting talking points in all of athletics, and if all things go right, 2027 could lead to a potential 325 1500. That would be incredible. And now I'd love to hear from you. Do you feel that this rivalry will lift both athletes to a 1500 world record attempt? Who do you think will ultimately come out on top? And will the world record be broken before the Los Angeles Games? Thanks for watching, everyone. Until next time.